Hope you're doing well, Mandus, mate. Handsome Yeti, beautiful boy. Mr. Sparrow. Well, let me actually tweet that we're streaming. That's a good idea. Oh! Let's make prettiness happen, or the opposite. Let's make my face happen. Hi, hey, how's everyone doing? I hope you are well. Let me just turn down the music a little so it won't overly disrupt when we're chatting. I'm BoredGamer. This is a stream. We're live. If we're live, and if you're watching this as a VOD, then we're probably not live. I use this as the royal we, as is my prerogative since we have a new king. Yeah. So, Star Citizen, lots has happened, eh? And we'll get into that in a minute. If you want to ask anything during the stream, just question in brackets and then ask away. Sort of use that to topic change or whatever. I'll come to your question at some point. Feel free to ask it again, but wait quite a while before asking it again, because I'm typically quite, like, maybe 15 minutes behind in chat sometimes. Potentially more, potentially less, who knows? So we I want to be talking about the Mirai. The Mirai Fury. So the company that is Mirai. And a bit about Fleet Week, about 3.19. They're obviously good things to chat about. Somebody, I love you. I've been okay. Sort of mental health wise. So I'll get hung up on certain things, and super hyper focused on them. So it'll be like, at the moment I'm panicky about one of my cryptos that I invested in many years ago, that I had like 10 grand in, going down to £2,000. So it's like I lost about £8,000 on that. It's not a huge deal. Yeah. It would be a huge deal if I just lost that overnight. It's been there. I invested it a long time ago. I sort of forgot I forgot I had it. And then looked at it and went, oh, well, that's made me sad. Well, it's sort of dropped too much, but I'm sort of hyper focused on, oh my god, I've lost all this money. But yeah, I mean, I'd hidden away, so Not as if it's destroyed my life or anything. So I get panicky and hung up on certain things. I bought a new 3D printer as well, and it's not working properly, and I sort of need to return it. So sort of a bit, oddly depressed about that. But it's just because it's unresolved, and I like to get things resolved and then go. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing pretty well. Pretty happy. I'm house hunting at the moment. Looking forward to actually. I haven't been out in ages. I need to go out to the pub, or like a barbecue or something. I'm gonna go around my house, mate's house for board games on the weekend. I'm gonna be playing a load of Sunhaven over the weekend, and then getting ready for next week, where it's gonna be lots of Star Citizen from Friday onwards, as we sort of get into the Fleet Week and 3.19, which I've been so excited for. Probably expect 3.19 to go live middle of next week, maybe early next week. That's what Cloud Imperium are planning. Yes, I'm not holding any hope that I'm going to get a house anytime soon. I've got a reasonable amount of money like stowed away, but I need to find somewhere I like as well. And I'm doing it over the next 6 months is what I'd like to see. So Zin is ill today. She's editing a video, and then she's got the rest of the day off. So she's been feeling pretty rough over the last week or so. But I run a pretty lax ship when it comes to employees. I always have all of my businesses. But Zin is especially her being a mate. I'm like, if you're not feeling well, just have the time off, or do a bit of work and take the rest of the day off, sort of thing. Rather, I be in tip-top condition and happy and efficient, rather than working and just feeling shit. And do you know what I mean? But I do want Zin to be on the streams at least once a week, and that is the plan in the future. Once we have a bit more gameplay to Star Citizen, I think that I want to be able to just jump in and do some random stuff, actual play, and it to be meaningful. We might start doing that with 3.19. We'll see. But yes, I'll get into some of the streams more regularly. Sure, I've only been on a couple of them. Yeah, I totally agree. The King's treating me well. Hasn't changed anything, which is good. In that they are pretty much heads for the country rather than doing anything actually meaningful. Although constitutional monarchies, I quite like them, just because you have you have to have the government, you have to have your prime minister go up to the king and sort of explain what he's doing in his government. It's sort of a sign of humility, kind of. Stephen, thank you very much. Very much appreciated. I appreciate the sub. 30 months is a long time as well. So, yeah. Let's have a quick read. Oh, thank you very much. Travel the map. Question. How's my fave Star Citizen creator? Who's that? Is that Morphologist or Salty Mike or Space Tomato? Is it? I'm doing well. If your favorite creator is me, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the donation. Genuinely appreciate it. Ramos, thank you very much for going aboard Citizen. I thought you already were for some reason. Your name pop up, obviously a reasonable amount. And you have the board avocado face, which suggests to me that you've been here for a longer time. I'm confused. I'm confused. But thank you very much for clicking that join button under my videos. Oh, it goes a long way to help the channel. It genuinely does. During the sort of quiet and dead times, or the bad times, the 3.18 times, it's very good to be able to have. Actually, we did pretty well during 3.18 still. I'm just talking about the news, because we will always discuss the Star Citizen news, be it dramatic or just whatever is coming out of CIG and whatever's coming out of the game. What I kind of want to do. I'm going to evolve the channel a bit as we get more and more gameplay, because I want to be able to, eventually when the game's live, go, there's no more development news. Well, there always will be. They keep on developing the game and they bring out new ships and stuff. But I also want to do like a news in game that I can do like as a breakfast show every day. Like, this is what happened. This is what's happening. Just like, hopefully so much to do in Star Citizen. Hopefully. Should a king be approachable by the public should he or she have an open door policy where any random person could have an audience, even if virtual? So at smaller scales, that would be a great idea. But unfortunately, the world is full of nutters, and it's just not viable. Not viable at scale. Right? Representatives or government or royalty or whatever should be available to do that, and they effectively are. You can, lodge white papers and talk to your council and whatever. Yo, new here. Thanks for all the recent content, Star Citizen. It's hyping me up so much that I brought a new rig just to play it. You monster. You're gonna obviously Star Citizen is very much alpha, but very pretty. As long as you're playing lots of other games as well, I think that's fair to buy a new rig. Yeah, Star Citizen's getting a lot more optimized as well. I hope 3.20 will deploy Vulkan properly. But welcome, and I hope you enjoy it. 3.19 is just about to release, so that should be pretty solid. I will send people's healing vibes to Zin. Considering all known factors, do you consider it possible, probable, definite, that really exists beyond the border of our atmosphere here on Earth? What? Life. Considering all known factors, do you consider it possible, probable, or definite that life exists beyond the borders of our atmosphere? Yes, I think it is extremely probable. I'll never say almost anything's definite, but I'll say that's extremely probable. Just because, anywhere that water exists probably has life, in liquid form. That'd be more specific. And I think that probably is almost certainly somewhere else. There'll be some other greenbelt planet. Doesn't have to be necessarily intelligent life, right? But almost certainly life elsewhere. I'm not arrogant enough to think we're so rare that it's only happened to Earth. It's possible that we're the first life, intelligent life, forms to come out of that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure if we're the only intelligent life in the universe. I hope one day we can put medical gowns in the engines of our ships in the hangar, and when it gets sucked up, it'll blow up the ship. Like a potato in the exhaust pipe. I like it. I went a bit heavy with a matte varnish rattle. Matte varnish rattle. And matte varnish rattle can. Got it. And the models don't look particularly matte anymore and have a weird texture. Is there anything I can do? I know this is not Star Citizen related. So you can spray a little bit more varnish on them. Okay, shake up the can properly and then spray them with slightly more varnish. Might save them. Obviously you've gone with like crystally horrible, the snowy frost effect, right? Sometimes, depending on the type of varnish, I have experience using it with silk varnishes, admittedly. You put a little bit more on, and it will save it. But yeah, really shake the can, warm the can, sometimes with warm water, and then sparingly with the varnish. Two really light layers from medium distance was what I would suggest.
Where do you intend on making your home in the verse? Once all star systems are out. You can't say Terra or Stanton as that's boring and generic. Love from Brighton.
No, Hextus. I probably won't have a set home. So obviously, I used to play EVE a lot. To have loads and loads and loads and loads of homes, right? Loads of stations and places you can operate out of. And it's likely I'll have multiple bases as well. I'm planning to play Star Citizen quite a lot compared to what I would say most people. So yeah, I don't have a set place where I will call my home. But I'll just keep on moving around. There might be a few places that I like super pretty. Cool. This is more of a base in operation, but it will be more set by the game. Whatever Cheetah is in Star Citizen, so whatever the sort of the main trading hub is, an area, that is probably where I will want a home and where I will spend most of my time. But even if it looked like it was just all brown and horrible sort of just one color and sort of even if it was just mud palette everywhere, I'd still call that my home if it meant that I get more money for UEC or whatever. It was like the trade hub, right? And it doesn't care if it looks pretty. For me, well, it doesn't. It doesn't. Gameplay trumps pretty. Evocado yet? Question mark. So 3.19's out to Open PTU. I want to be talking about the Mirai Fury in a minute. I don't think the Fury is out to in Evocado hands at the moment. Mirai has no guns? Question mark. So from the looks of it, there is, and spoilers coming. The Mirai looks like the Mirai Fury. Because it's basically Mirai is a offshoot of Misk. So let me show you this. Boop, boop. So there's a Misk division. Mirai. Yeah, it's a new manufacturer, 4 ships, Mirai, that will appear at the Fleet Week. So cool, new ship. There's multiple new ships and vehicles and stuff going to be happening. But then you've got this bad boy, which is a little preview of the Mirai. God damn it, the Mirai Fury. There does appear to be 2 versions of it, at least from the leaks we can see. So Clan Imperium obviously put this out. Now, it very much has guns, as we can see. It has 4 what appear to be size 2s. So this is the Mirai Fury is a combat snub. And it is very small. It looks like it's going to be foldable. It is effectively... it looks very similar to like the Cartu Al-ish sort of feel, because it is Xi'an and human tech combined. And yeah, there's this combat snub, it appears. Yeah, I think it folds down, so it's got a really small like footprint. You've got your big missiles under it as well. I believe several size 2s, 4 size 2s, I believe. Because there's a couple on top. But yeah, so you've got those 4 size 2 GPUs. Pretty strong for a tiny little ship that will be able to fit in lots of other ships. I don't think it's going to be particularly well armed or anything. Lots of size 1 components. So you'll be able to take a couple of hits, but you don't want it to take any sustained fire, because otherwise you're done. I don't believe it's going to have a quantum drive because it's a snub. Yeah. And I really like the look of it. I think there was a hole for a genuine combat snub as well. So really short range, really pew-pew-pew-pewy. Looks a little bit, because it's got the 4 wings. Looks a bit like a Fury, right? From Babylon 5. Ish, a little tiny bit. Got a little bit of shapeology, right? Yes. So you got your Misk Mirai Fury, and there appears, according to the leaks, that there is an MX missile version as well, which has 20 missiles on instead of guns. Gets rid of all its guns and just has 20 missiles. So weird. That's a lot of firepower. And my mate asked me, "Can you just arm it and then ram things?" I was like, "Well, maybe you should be able to." Yeah, I really like the look of that. You can expect to load more stuff turn up at Fleet Week as well. That starts on Friday. That ship will go on sale on Friday. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Why use this over the Gladius? Well, okay, because this is going to be much more readily carryable in a lot more ships than the Gladius. This doesn't have a quantum drive. It is a snub. If you want a quantum drive, if you want a better ship, the Gladius is probably better, right? But this is going to be probably hard to hit. This is going to be very maneuverable, oddly, sort of differently sort of maneuverable, because its thrusters are the Xi'an thrusters, so it's going to be like very strafey. Yeah, I like it. It's going to be able to carried by a lot of ships that wouldn't normally be able to carry a ship. I'm sort of interested to know what people think of that. Hey, board. Will they fix the trams glitching out in Star Citizen? So, yeah, it's one of the known issues that they're trying to fix. Glitchy trams, people falling through trams, that sort of stuff, them being out of sync. It's important. Hopefully they'll get it sorted for 3.19. Public transport that is obviously used in game a huge amount needs to be less janky and more refined. Can I take missiles and stuff out off the Gladius? Yes, you can. So you can use the tractor beam now to detach it. You have to go into the cockpit and allow it to be attached by unlocking it. You have to enable the unlocking first. I don't know the exact measurements of the Fury yet, but I suspect based on its footprint, that's going to enable it to get into lots of different ships, I think. So we'll have to see. Hopefully a couple will be able to fit, well, one will be able to fit in, or Cutty. The sort of medium ships like the Cutty, I don't expect you'll be able to get anything more than one in if you're lucky. Yeah, it's kind of like a manned drone. Yeah, it's just a snub. It's a small ship without a quantum drive. That's just gone. You know what? Let's have a load of guns and be maneuverable. But I do not think it's going to be able to take more than a couple of hits, sort of thing. It's great to have in game as NPCs to fight as well. You have loads of these. I'm just shooting loads of them, but they've got quite a lot of firepower on. Yeah, indeed. Hard to hit the Fury, but when it gets hit, blammo. Is it size 1 guns with size 2 gimbals? Okay. That would potentially make sense. Okay. It would make sense that it's size 2 mounts. I've missed a couple of streams as well, but I appreciate people being here. Thank you. I appreciate Mars, you going, don't worry, just don't worry about your crypto, it'll go back up. Thank you, that's what I need. Now, I sort of know it will. I hope it will. Never invest what you can't afford to lose? Question mark? What else have we got here? You think the Mirai Fury is going to become a ship for a bigger ship, like a Merlin? So, I see what you mean. I don't think they've announced... no, I think it's just going to be more of a general snub that will be able to be used by lots of ships. It's possible they will eventually make a Mirai ship that makes use directly of the... that has a bay for it. When do you think the Galaxy map update is coming? So we know they're working on mini-map stuff, internal maps for ships. for the star map and like wheel down planet maps and things like that. But we don't have any dates for that yet. And I think it's essential for them to get it in game ASAP. But unfortunately, I have no dates. But they are working on it. With this new branch of MISC being introduced, is this the start of getting some more manufacturers and branches of it? Potentially, yes. So potentially, expect to see more ships, more of manufacturers, and more offshoots of other companies in the future. Yeah. What information do we know about the Fury? It's got 4 size 2 gun mounts, potentially size 1 guns on there. Sort of from sort of leaks and obviously the pictures that we can see. I believe it's got 4 size 2 missiles on it, and the rest of it's going to be like size 1 components. No quantum drive, I believe. And it might be an MX missile variant with 20 missiles on, maybe. Take it with a pinch of leak salt. But yes, by the new offshoot of MISC, Mirai. I've forgotten how to say it now. But that one. He's melted my brain. Have you thought about hosting a community event? Probably will do stuff like that in the future. I will get Zin to head them. Because I want to turn up. Fairy Tech, thank you very much. Yes, I'm doing well. Appreciate it. Shocksbite. Yes, I need to, you've reminded me to oil my knife. I need to show off your stuff rather than just tweeting it. You think $160 for the Fury? No way. So, it's not a true alien ship. I don't think it's going to be more than between $65 and $80. I don't think it'll be more than that. Because otherwise you might as well buy an actual full-on combat fighter, right? Like a Gladius or something. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it will have alien tax. We know we will get 3 vehicles. Well, we might get some various variants of those as well. And it's not essential we know we'll get 3 vehicles because Planet Imperium do sometimes keep some stuff close to the chest and might see some concept stuff. With the Fury releasing soon and it being a snub fighter, do you see the Anvil Liberator releasing relatively soon? I mean, I love the idea. A lot of people keep on talking about the Liberator. I don't think it's currently on the roadmap as being completed anytime soon. I don't see why Clan Imperium would hide it. Yes, snub effectively means no quantum drive, no jump drive, no quantum drive. The Mirai is the Mirai Fury. So the Fury is a Merlin-style snub. I think we might see a squadron variant of the Starfarer replacing the fuel containers for several reasons. I really like the idea of being able to have ships like the Starfarer have ship pods or hangar pods. I love that idea. Do you think there will be a mid or large new ship? I'm hoping that they sort of unveil some new concept-y stuff. We'll talk about that. I mean, it certainly see something large later this year. I like the idea of pocket carriers for snubs as well. That you have a focused, small carrier ship. There goes. I can take 6 of these bad boys, or 5 of them. 5 Furies. They are perfect. When settlement building is out, how will it work owning land? If you claim land, does that mean no one can ever have the same place, even on a different server? So if you claim land, that's effectively what server meshing should mean, right? You claim land, that's your land claim. You can't build on that land claim. And that would also mean so in places that you can't claim land as well, when someone else builds there, that's going to persist effectively on all servers somehow. So people can't build on exactly the same areas. But your land claim should persist on all the servers as well, which will give you legal protection. I don't know for sure it's a snub. It looks like a snub. And the leaks suggest that it's a snub. So, assumedly, that would mean no quantum. Right, will Fury have internal atmosphere? I believe it should, yes. Yes, you did say furry, I saw. Yeah, a lot of people are going to have a load of these in their caterpillars, right? Do you think snubs should get limited quantum drives so they could at least spline or jump to local moons, not interplanetary? I'm fine with snubs having no quantum drive at all, having no ability to. They literally have to be deployed out of a carrier ship or be used to defend a station or sort of ground targets. Yeah, that they have very limited range. I am fine with that. I like the nice range of price points. People from $40 to all the way up to $160 is what we've currently had. I'm hoping on the lower end of everything, right? Be nice for them to have a nice lifetime insurance token. I'm hoping no more than $60. I'm hoping that's less. Yeah, I think they'll sell a load of them as well, right? What if it has a quantum travel? Then it might. I think it's unlikely. I mean, if it does, then it will obviously be worth people buy it for a bit more potentially. But Clan Imperium like to fill holes, and it makes sense, right, to have a small little snub that's very combat effective. But also, the Razor's been pushed into the Mirai brand as well, so they're taking it away from MISC. They're putting that to Mirai. I don't believe they're doing the same with the Reliance, though. The Reliance, I think they went, look, they're more industrial workhorsey ships, or at least not super performance related. So we'll keep that in the MISC brand. Yeah, 4 of them in a squadron together. That's a lot of firepower, right? And still quite hard to hit. See you later, Sparrow, mate. Did you say we're intelligent? Do you think it will fit on the Valkyrie? I think it probably will. It's hard. We don't know until it's in our hands, right? We don't know until it's in our hands. .19 is not live yet. I'm expecting it live early to mid next week, personally. With the recent mining updates, do you think it's possible we will get a minor variant of the mule that makes 1 SCU crates of gems, or takes them? I like the idea. I think they're obviously going to want the mule to be. We'll be able to get some different modifiers for it. But it's more of a forklift. It's more of a short range hauler, right? A vehicle hauler. A hauler that is a vehicle. I can host small events occasionally if Yunzin would like. Yeti, let's talk about that because we need some lieutenants to help us with it for sure. That sounds great because we are bad at stuff. Do you have any idea what the Fury is yet? Thinking that it is a snub, combat snub, with load of guns on it. Pew, pew, pew. I suppose that it may be cheaper if it's only a snub and has no quantum travel. And has smaller guns. Yeah, so it looked like it's got size 2 guns to me, but maybe they are size 1. Any idea when the Apollo will come out? A lot of people are after that medical ship for sure. We've got no dates on it yet. We know that the Hull C is coming out in 3.20. What do you think the chances of getting a larger multi-crew size Spear ship are? It's possible in the future, right? I mean, the Star Citizen's going to be in development for like a good few more years, and then after that, they're going to want to continue to support it and develop for it after its release for another 10, 15 years, right? Will the Starfarer Gemini move into the Mirai brand? I don't believe so. So the Mirai brand is supposed to be typically human and alien, normally Xi'an technology combined, and performance. So all of those things coming together. Yeah. So the Reliant, even though it is technically a sort of Xi'an-esque and human sort of hybrid ship, it's not performancey enough. It's more workhorse industrial. So it still stays within the MISC brand. But the Razor, very much performance ship, Racer, it's gone into the Mirai brand. You think the Razor will receive any treatment to its performance? It might get a few little tweaks. It will definitely get a different logo on it, right? Will the Lynx have a bed? I don't know the exact internals of the Lynx yet. Don't expect so, but maybe. You have any idea when 3.19 will come to live? I'm expecting it early to mid next week. Yeah. Early to mid next week is the most likely time. Robert Johnston, thank you very much for giving a load of memberships away. That's very appreciated. I like money, and I like you, because you combine two things that I like, yourself and money. Thank you so much. Genuinely appreciated. So I hope you are doing well. Long-term supporter of the channel, and big old supporter of the channel. Hope you are doing well, sir. Looks like four. It looks like 4 guns. Seems excessive for a snub. Well, potentially the missile variant might have 20 missiles. That's quite excessive for a snub. Do you know why the is not showing progress since Q4 of last year? Merchantman? Oh, on the roadmap. You expect to see more on the Merchantman at CitizenCon. They are working on it. I believe there's a team of at least 13 people working on it currently. J-Bird, love you, man. Good to see you, bud. We're wishing Zin and you good health. Do you know if Zin will ever do anything with her Bored Xenia channel? Maybe she will in the future. I'll encourage her to, right? I'll encourage her to do a bit more. We will sort of expand out our operations. I'm sort of quite lazy, but there's a lot more stuff I do want to do in the future for sure. I'll incentivize her with more money somehow. What else have we got? Jenny, thank you for the subs. Thank you very much for the donations. Really appreciated. As I said, I like money. Who doesn't? No, very much the Fury isn't a racer, but the Razor is. The C8X needs a bed. At least 2 cargo squares. Maybe you'll be able to use. Maybe you will be able to put things in cargo bays in the future or in your ships, like a little bed or cots or whatever to sleep in, as just like usable objects. Like you got food makers and coffee machines. Why not? I appreciate all the kind words. Thanks so much. Thanks, Day Chap. Would you like to see a very large ground vehicle like the Sandcrawler for mining or transport? I'd love to see it. I don't think it's what they will want to do. Also, I think it will be quite hard for them to do. Yeah, I'm expecting them to make the Fury a lifetime insurance taken effectively. It's just a super cheap ship. There's a possibility you have Pyro this year, question mark? Yes, so Clan Imperium have basically said, from what I can tell, so they're very much my interpretation of what they've said, that they want to push Pyro and jump points out as soon as possible, even if that means that server meshing might not be ready. They might have to go with server meshing light or a simpler version of server meshing with that. Or potentially even no server meshing or decoupling it somehow. So it's much more viable for us to have Pyro. It might only be like Eva Kali, whatever, by the end of the year. I think it's a strong possibility. For an Evo, at least. Doesn't mean it's definitely going to be there. Doesn't mean that it's probably going to be there. I just think that it might be. And I guess on the price of Fury, I think $60-ish is fair. But we don't know. It might be alien taxed. The range is currently between 40 and 160. That's the range. Right. I think we're in for any surprises for Fleet Week board. But yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff they could do. There's obviously other leaks on some other vehicles and ships and stuff that's coming out with that. There's the possibility that there might be like an Idris tour or something. People have been chatting about, though that's certainly not confirmed or anything. So I don't get overly excited. It just looks like the Idris has more of its interior done in one of the latest patches. So keep that stuff in mind. It's possible. And they might have some other ships flying around. They might have some bits and bobs. But yeah, there's always the possibility that they could be more than we're expecting. What changes in terms of Fleet Week do you see happening compared to last year's? Will we see a tour of the Idris? Yeah, I've just basically talked about that. Exactly that. It's a strong... It is a possibility. But there's always a strong possibility it's going to have new stuff. Obviously, we have new ships and new vehicles. Obviously, they moved the expo hall around, and they want to have stuff going on. So. My favourite cutlass is the blue. How long away do you think we are from being able to manage more of our ship systems, increasing the need for larger ship crews? So that's exactly what they're doing with the resource management system, literally expanding out what multi-crew gameplay is and damage control. So they're working on that at the moment. We'll probably start to see those systems come into the game at the end of the year or early next year. But yeah, it is a priority for them, and they are very much developing that. Put a note in event planning room, your Discord, to follow up on later. Thank you very much, Samayati. Appreciated. Could it be that the whole series was actually designed for the... Yeah. So, wait, I lost the question. No, it looked like a good question. Could it be that the Fury would be actually be designed for the hull series, as the bigger versions are supposed to be at least partially modular? So you could actually just have them stuck. I love the idea of having ship cargo containers, basically. I really like that idea of cargo container hangars. Boom V2. I think that's assuming how you say your name. Thank you very much for the sub. Genuinely appreciate it. Could it be that the Fury, literally what I just read, RSI Galaxy versus RSI Perseus, which is better for my poor wallet? For what my poor wallet suffers. Recently just won a Corsair in an all giveaway, and I don't like it very much. I know it's blasphemy to say. I really like Perseus. I was not overly impressed by the Galaxy. It's cool and modular, but yeah. Perseus, cool looking brawler ship. Going to be a great little Corvette. Yeah, really excited for it. Do you expect a MISC multi-cruise ship of a larger size to have a bespoke base for the Fury? Maybe even an actual Mirai ship. And they could do a Mirai combat hybrid sort of thing, similar to the Banner Merchantman and the Defender. Maybe. I like the idea of synergy. I would like to see a pocket carrier specifically for snubs. Right? I think that's a good idea. I appreciate all the comments. Thank you so much. What is holding back more and varied missions and mission types, e.g., the taxi and delivery MacGuffins, take people from A to B, hunting, all that sort of stuff? They are working on it. They're working on loads of stuff, sort of mission-wise. You're going to start to see that more and more with like salvage contracts and stuff that is literally coming into the game for 3.19. They are really bad with changing priorities. They will work on something, they'll get it sort of partly done, and then they'll change priorities to something else. Now, the thing they partly got done doesn't get wasted or anything. It goes into the sort of Squadron 42 dev branch, and they needed it for something. But really, most of the lion's share of development is going into Squadron 42 and associated features, which then drip down into the persistent universe. So a lot of the persistent universe stuff isn't getting worked on that you would probably want to get worked on, right? In the sort of shorter term, because you want a load of people working on a load of different types of missions and specific gameplay that's only going to be in the persistent universe rather than Squadron 42 as well. Well, you want them to finish Squadron 42 first. Because then there's more people to work on these other gameplay mechanics. And even if they start working on Episode 2 relatively soon after they finished Episode 1, there'll still be more people working on persistent universe stuff, and the company will have grown as well, and they'll have the core of Star Citizen completed too. So it's much easier to sort of attach these new components to it. But we are getting more. Just, not as much as we could. I'm trying to gather some friends for free flight and check the expo. What day or part of the event would you recommend us going to go live? So, okay, around 4 p.m. UTC-ish, or 3 p.m. 4 p.m. UTC. A bit confused what time that will be. Probably 4 p.m. UTC. The expo hall should open up around-ish on Friday the 19th of May, roughly. Now, I say roughly, even though we've got a timer ticking down, because stuff breaks. Stuff doesn't always go to plan, and those expo halls might not open up properly, and sometimes it takes them a little while. So maybe an hour after that. So Friday evening is a great time to jump in, or Saturday sort of morning or afternoon. Yeah? Jump in, see the cool new stuff. First day, first set of manufacturers. You get to see the new ships, you get to try all the new stuff. Just jump in and have a look. Would be my suggestion. And then spawn at Area 18 and have a look around. And then I would do some missions and go to Lawville and then fly around Lawville. You also be able to do the new player experience at Area 18. Yeah, be prepared for the challenges of bugs. Not all of your friends may have the same experience. Did you think that Fleet Week will come before or after 3.19 live? Fleet Week will come after 3.19 live. 3.19 almost certainly will go live by the middle of next week, and then you've got Fleet Week at the starting on Friday. Not server meshing. What do you believe it will take us to be able to pick our servers so that PES actually matters? So you're talking about shard affinity, which the Cloud Imperium are going to be working on, and that should turn up at some point. I don't. I suspect we're actually pretty close to that. Do you think we'll start to see brand divisions for other manufacturers? Yes, I think that's quite possible in the future. It's very sensible for Cloud Imperium to do stuff like that because they need less work to get those brands done, right? Because they go, well, it's an offshoot of this company. We've got all the assets for that company, and we also want them to be a bit like this company or use this sort of style. Much quicker to sort of develop. Will tractor beams be able to be attached to weapon mounts? At the moment, I believe it's only utility mounts. That could change in the future. Will owners of the hull D and E get a hull C as loaner? I believe so. That makes sense. Any recent updates on the Expanse or its progress? None. No updates on that at the moment. And we've got a mobile refinery. We know that gameplay loop is pretty refined, as it were. So hopefully soon. I don't know. Why is this game so hated? It's the very small minority of people know that they can get a response from people, and the game is pretty well.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate the sub, NPC and DN. Thank you very much. The game is a mixture of white knighted and well defended by its players. So a lot of people are very reasonable. A lot of people are very sort of kind. A lot of people are overly defensive Star Citizen. Well, not a lot of people. Some people are overly defensive Star Citizen. But a lot of people are just generally sort of like, no, try the game. It's good. And the people that hate Star Citizen or see it as a scam, whatever, get very aggressive with that. And obviously that has then the two more polarized sides fighting each other. And it's just interesting to see that. It gets pointed out a lot. If you look at the toxicity in other communities, so if you play something like a MOBA or Overwatch or stuff, I love Overwatch, but I'd say the community there is pretty toxic. People shouting at each other and telling them to kiss their sisters and things like that. If you know what that means, you know what that means. Yeah, it's I love Star Citizen's community. I think it's the best gaming community I've ever been part of. But I mean, I've played stuff like Eve and Rust and stuff like that. I suppose people don't really realize how PvP-ish I've been. I love PvE stuff. I love controlled PvP, where everyone knows what's going on as well. You think that the implementation of persistent anti-streaming in 3.18 and server meshing in the near future are the beginning of major game-breaking patches until all of the in-game stuff is working together? I mean, it's super important to get in, and persistent anti-streaming has now been refined somewhat and scaled back slightly so that it works a lot better for actually keeping the game playable in the short term. But all that tech's still there, and once they have better net tech and server meshing and stuff, I suspect they'll be able to have that running a bit better. I do think that the next major problems we'll have with the game will be with server meshing, yes. I like the generations of goblins have been raised online. Wow. I think there's some genuinely good gamers and some people wanting to play. I get salty. Salt is fine, okay? People being salty and people saying limited and reasonable insults, banter, as I call it, is also fine. It's just, when people are super aggressive or threats or whatever, or genuine bullying, which is, I don't see that much in the Star Citizen community. I know people talk about griefing and stuff, but a lot of the stuff I see is sandbox gameplay. I do see actual griefing and stream sniping and stuff as well, though, separately. I do see some people genuinely bullying as well, but it's actually pretty small. It's like a tiny percentage of people compared to what I would see in other games like, Eve or something. Or at least that's what it was like when I was playing Eve back in the day. I just want 3.19 to be remotely playable. Me too, buddy. It's good on the PTU. It's pretty solid. It needs a few more little tweaks for sure. I'm very optimistic about it. I mean, I was relatively optimistic about 3.18 until it exploded. So what is Mr. BoredGamer's preferred playstyle? Is he a pirate or a Kerber? So I'm a risk versus rewarder. I'm much more PvE orientated. I will get involved in other gameplay that I know is risky and PvP might occur because it's part of the game and more money can be made from it. The risk is there. I'm not overly avoiding PvP. I'm quite a kind player. Okay, I will not take advantage of another player that is clearly non-aggressive's mistake. If someone's like they're in a bad situation where their ship's about to be destroyed or whatever, I will help them out. Or if they've left their loot unlocked, I'm not going to rob them. Okay? I'm genuinely quite a kind player. Now, if they are an asshole, I will take everything I can from them. Yeah, I will put C4 on their ship, wave them goodbye. Like when I played Rust, some of my mates that also played Rust get annoyed with me when I let people go, or I don't actively just murder hobo everyone. I'm sort of like, look, I'm not going to kill this guy. He's in our territory. He's in our ass, but he's just farming wood. He is harmless. It's like, hey guys, do you have any self-respect? Yeah, you have some self-respect. There you go, mate. Go over there. Oh, sorry, I just shot my bow at you. I didn't mean to. If you do that again, I will murder you 1,000,000 times. I'm sorry, dude. I loved Rock and Rust. I loved it. Love it. It got pretty dark now. What you got in it? You got to make a statement. But I'm. You don't have to be Care Bear or pirate's fine, or extreme sort of murder hobo. There's a nice spectrum there, but I'm closer to a Care Bear than I am a murder hobo. Do you see a problem with game packs being sold that have no 442 access? Not anymore, because they have cleared up all the stuff with Crytek, so they're allowed to sell them separately. I think that's fine to have them as two separate games. Kind player, you're kind like, thank you. You other than my Star Citizen videos I've made, you have no sort of proof of that. But I appreciate that. I appreciate that I give an air of kindness. What else have we got here? Do you think that one day we'll see a big boost in development at any point? Yeah, so once they've got the core of the game done, once they've got Squadron 42 out, I think we'll see leaps and bounds. I do also think that we'll see some big progress after server meshing's refined. I think that we're starting to get more and more in game. They're starting to get a lot more sort of actual playable modules, and they're starting to like push through with resource management system and stuff like that. So there's a huge amount that's coming up in the next few years. No additional news on the Perseus, unfortunately. We might see some cool stuff during Fleet Week. They might talk about some more shippy stuff and give some shipper updates. Mate, I'd be happy for Star Citizen to have Rust-like star systems, which have that sort of more survival-ish murder gameplay. Rust and Eve, yep. Liberator in Invictus. He's a mean, I think. So people have been talking about this. I don't think so. We might see it in the Hollow Viewer, right? Is it possible that the live servers will set 3.9 on fire? It's possible. Let's hope not, though, eh? So, been a long time since I watched your last stream, but still interested in Star Citizen. Will it ever get VR? So, some devs have talked about this, with a dev saying once we have Vulcan in, that he's going to look at it, and even if he has to work on it in his spare time, he wants to get it in some form. So Vulcan looks like it might be turning up in 3.20. Give it another patch to get refined after that. Then they might start genuinely talking about VR support. I have a Polaris, a Merchantman, and a Carrack, an Orion, an Endeavour, a Crucible, Scorpius, Polaris. What else do you think I should look at? And I want to say you're a monster. But I'd get the rest of your ships in game personally, just because that's a lot of ships, a lot of capital there. Really, you just want to have ships that allow you to do the gameplay you want to do. So there's no specifics I would be able to go, you should get this ship. It'd be like, what sort of gameplay do you want to do? Get the ships that support that. And a lot of that gameplay, you might not be sure if you're going to like or not until you've had the chance to play it when it's sort of refined, so closer to live. Currently, the Vulture cannot be purchased without PVC in 3.19. No, that is correct. I'm hoping that they make it purchasable at Fleet Week. Otherwise, we'll have to wait for 3.20. It's a little bit of a slap in the face, CIG thing. No new updates or words on the RSI Perseus at the moment. Do we think we'll see the Liberator before Pyro? I mean, that's possible, I suppose. There's no new updates I've got on the Liberator, though. Do you think any of the other Mirai ships will receive any performance tweaking? I mean, that's quite possible. That is quite possible. If they move more stuff over. But I think they're only moving the Razor series over, right? They've got Razors and now the Fury. Have you had any talk about missions that will allow us to pick up player dropped litter around the zones? So Cloud and PM have talked about this a little bit, where that might be a thing. I think it's a good idea to be able to earn Alpha UEC or rep or something from picking up litter and then chucking it in the bin. Have bins that actually destroy anything that you put in them. I think that's a good idea. There's a certain amount of litter at an area. Have a middle mini quest that goes boop and turns up that goes, you get rewarded for doing this. Take the trash out. And you do that, and maybe that leads on to some more interesting missions after you do that a few times, right? Get rep up with some weird sort of Been out of the loop for a while now. What is CIG's biggest task to get the ball rolling in terms of better progression with the game? Really, they're sort of working on getting Pyro out the door at the moment. It's Pyro and surf meshing. That's the sort of main things. And I suppose the resource management system, which is the really true multi-crew and damage control and physicalized components and stuff like that. I kind of also want to get the new flight model stuff updated in the master modes so that we have nav mode and combat modes done properly. I feel a cheap and cheerful Drake snub have been a better fit over Misk. Do you agree? I would like to see a Drake snub, yes. But I also think that this is fine to do. You want a high tech Xian-esque combat snub? Great. There's a hole there. There's also a hole for a Drake snub. You can have it with a bit of gun on and a bit of utility. Give it a little tractor beam and give it some guns. Perfect. I think that's most of the questions. I believe that there should be a Star Citizen Live that's just started. So I would encourage people to go and watch that. I'm going to see if that is the case. Let me answer a couple of questions first before I do that, though. I'll do a couple more. We'll be releasing a video. I'm looking more at that Misk, also the Mirai Fury, and the sort of new settlements that are planned for 3.20 as well. Have we been given an answer to how we will travel between standard Pyro? Jump point. It will be a jump point. The jump point there that we saw at 2019's CitizenCon. This is my first Fleet Week. I do old packs return like double Scorpius. Potentially. That is not confirmed or anything. You're likely to see new packs and new skins and stuff like that. But there could be some old ones returning. Will Security Post Korea maintain the sole place to reduce crime stat? For the short term, yes. Don't know about the medium and long terms. Will there be other locations in the future? When we have more star systems, yes. Will there be other ways of doing it in the future? Yeah, probably. How do you feel about the current state of the game's gameplay loops? Significantly better in 3.19. Mining is a huge amount better. Salvage is more interesting as well. and being able to rip stuff off and move stuff around with the tractor beams. It's getting a lot better. It's getting better and better and better each patch. Well, 3.18 was technically better, but actually being able to play it and the stability and playability of the game is a lot lower because of server problems and bugs. Do you think they will make a large Drake combat ship, corvette, battleship size to support the Kraken? Oh, I quite like the idea of a combat corvette for Drake. I like that idea. Do you think the Hull C will be soloable for the Reckless Cargo Hauler? Yes, I do think you'll be able to run these ships sort of semi-solo, but you will also be able to run purchase NPC crew or get AI modules for it as well. A 3.19 wipe or just home reset for tutorial. They'll wipe if they need to. They won't wipe if they don't need to. And they haven't said they do need to wipe. So even when they do say they need to wipe, sometimes they don't. Talk about Beyond Star Citizen Live. So I am going to send you over to them. Have a look. Do you love a pappy boy? Oh, my head's gone. Oh god. Do you love a pappy boy? Cool. Perfect. /raid Star Citizen. Perfect. Thank you very much for watching. Genuinely appreciated. Go and watch the Star Citizen Live if you are so inclined. I'll get a video out in an hour or so. And thank you so much for watching. Genuinely appreciated. I'll go over here. Thank you very much for all the subs and donations. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Really looking forward to Fleet Week. We'll probably do a mixture of streams and videos throughout Fleet Week because it's relatively exciting. But